Yes, yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
The 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
Good morning, everybody. What another beautiful Saturday morning. It's a great day outside. Sunny here in Atlanta, like normal. It's going to be hot. It's a good day to jump in the pool. There's so much going on. But right now, you've entered inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And I am your host, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? And of course, I'm not doing this by myself. You know, I have to bring in my co-host, my road dog, Mr. Dennis Pendleton. But you know him as The Intellectual. What up, D?
Yo, what up? You just definitely saved my whole government. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. Wrap your hands. That's how you feel.
Yeah, I ain't mean to, man. But anyway, like I said, it's a great day for sports. You know, we just coming off an NBA Finals that was quick, man. I ain't even had time to watch.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
The second quarter of the second game.
I fell asleep on it, bro.
Yeah, I mean.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Over there quick? But anyway, we're going to get into that, and we have special guest, Mr. Joel Cortez, a 3-point conversion NBA correspondent, coming in talking about the NBA Finals and offseason the next season. Also, we have special guest Damian Adams is going to be in the building talking boxing. So we have some boxing coming on this week or tonight, you know, so we're going to get into that. And also we're going to talk about this T.O. situation. Then we got quick hits, what's on my mind, stop it segment. So we got so much to get into. So make sure you call in at 404-603-8770. Once again, it's 404-603-8770 to throw your 3 cents in. And the show today is brought to you by Express Salad. Also brought to you by Seneca's Barbershop and our other sponsor. We all know it's not Sucker Free, it's Sucker Free Life LLC. So it's time to get to these quick hits. You ready?
Yeah,
let's get it. Shout out to Sherm Beats for the music.
Killing the beats.
Yes, sir. And make sure you share with your family and friends. Let them know they can listen on Facebook Live or listen if they're locally Atlanta. It is 1100 a.m. The Real. Also, they can go to TuneIn 1100 a.m. and go into iHeartRadio 1100. We're everywhere, man. So, as I mentioned earlier, the Golden State Warriors won their third title in 4 years. But they won't get the invite. First of all, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors. And if you're a Golden State Warriors fan, congratulations, you know, to you all, whatever. Even if you're a bandwagon fan. But either or.
Most star.
Yeah, but with winning their third title in 4 years, yet they won't get invited to the White House, says the president. And he said neither Golden State or if it had been Cleveland is not.
Well, LeBron said we weren't coming anyway. They weren't going anyway. Steve Kerr been very critical on this presidency.
Right.
LeBron said what he said, and they weren't going anywhere.
Right. And okay, go ahead, G.
That's it.
Man, nobody wants to go, man.
Exactly.
Nobody.
I'll be surprised if the Washington Capitals don't want to go.
They probably not.
Right.
And they can walk there.
Right. I mean, Anyway, moving on. Speaking of the Washington Capitals, congratulations to the Washington Capitals on winning their first Stanley Cup Finals in franchise history. Also, give a big shout out to Las Vegas Knights. Las Vegas Knights. You know, they got to the finals in the expansion season. Speaking of the Knights, it was a report that came out and said that if they would have won, Vegas would have belly flopped. That it would have been a wrap for them, just because the odds were 500-1 before the season. If they won the finals, 500-1. You know what would have happened if
Somebody bet on them.
There were some reports to where the sports books were trying to reach out to these people who made these bets, like, hey, why don't we offer you this lump sum here, you know, in exchange for not going through with this bet.
Yeah, just tear this bet up.
man, like,
That would have been that would have changed people's lives.
and then just think about the people. As shout out to my man Spree, as he say,
Yo, that's why they lost.
look, shout out to the real bettors, the people that bet, the gamblers. Now, you know, they probably took bets, you know, and gambled saying that they would make it to the finals. They got broke off.
Because they wasn't even, they probably, even the playoffs.
That probably was
Even the
300-1.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Even the playoffs probably was what? 30-1, 40-1,
Probably
50-1?
more than, yeah, 50-1. Man.
Just the playoffs
And,
people got
right.
paid.
And then the finals?
Stanley
just
Cup
making it?
Finals? Ooh. What it was, probably 200-1?
Probably 200 or 300.
Man.
Like, that's
I
crazy.
wish I could have got in on that.
Man, so look, the next expansion team coming out.
I'm right. I'm putting 100 on that. I'm putting 100 on that. I'm putting 100 on that. Matter of fact, I may think every year, what's the worst odds? Who not supposed to go to the playoffs?
Right.
Let me get 50 on that.
Right. Moving on. NBA prospect and former Duke Blue Devil center Marvin Bagley says the report of DeAndre Ayton, who came out of Arizona Wildcats, played for the Arizona Wildcats, being the number one pick is disrespectful.
What are you saying? Is he saying DeAndre being disrespectful?
No, he's
or
saying that's
just,
the
just
report.
The people saying it?
Yeah, the report. I mean, it's
alright.
it's a good way, but it's a good way to feel.
Yeah, definitely. Had a chip on your shoulder. Dude,
And
come
honestly,
in and get down.
Because when I first saw it, I'm like, you know, it almost got to stop it. But when I thought, and not necessarily because
Actually, he
I don't
might
think
get it. Now
that
I
he's
thought
better,
about
but just the fact that you want teams to see that chip on your shoulder to show that you're the best.
Definitely, but every year, is there not a mock draft? Is there not a 1, 2, 3?
Right.
And he hasn't been 1 or 2 most of the mock drafts.
Oh, I thought you had something to say, G.
Well, you know, he has to also look at how can a team like use him? Do the Suns need a Bagley?
No.
No,
They
not
need it.
really.
They need it. Hey,
I mean, he'll go to the the Kings, they probably won't take him either. So who has the third pick? Is it the Hawks?
Hawks.
He'll go number 3 and be happy about it. I mean, everyone wants to be the number one player in the
pick.
draft, but you want to be just the best player in the draft, which I think he is.
And then,
right, like, so what is going? A couple mil, probably, right? Like maybe a mil or 2.
what's the
But you
difference?
go right. You go no. I'm not gonna say what's the difference because
No,
that's,
I'm saying
that's,
you're saying
that's
it's a 2
paper.
mil the difference. I'm saying you're saying that's the difference.
Yeah, probably
right
per year, but that's some paper. So don't
No,
say
I'm
it.
not saying what's the difference. I'm saying
But
that's
I think he could make it up. Like you said, he's probably gonna be the best player in the draft. That's how you feel. So if you feel like you're the best player in the draft, you're gonna get it. You know it's gonna come.
But then too, it's situation like, what if? And Jordan's great. Jordan, I'm just saying. But what if Jordan would have went to a horrible team?
The third
like, you know
pick,
what I'm saying?
I made the earth sick.
To
Him,
LA
MJ,
Clippers.
MJ,
Yeah, right. He
fadeaway
was
perfect.
Right. But I'm just saying, you know.
Well, he did go to a bad team.
No. But I'm saying, what if you'd have went to another team with where the general manager
Right, if he
didn't
had
wanna
went to
win?
Portland, or
It's
he
a
had
lot
all
of-
Like if he went to the Clippers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Clippers,
There
right?
you go.
Or back in the day, if you got picked, it was Clippers. Or like the last 10 years, if you went to Philly, that was death row.
Portland just can't make picks. Can they?
Nah, They keep missing out. Like they miss out, and the ones that you think
They miss
got,
out, but
they
the
get
ones
injured.
they miss out on, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
they won with Lillard,
Right.
but they miss out on probably 2 of the top 10 players ever. If KD end up, you know how we feel like he gonna end up.
Mm-hmm.
That's wow.
Yeah, very.
But
wild.
yeah, Bagley, it's cool, fam. Do you?
Yeah,
Just ball out.
I'm not mad at him, man, for that.
No, it's a good chip to have on your shoulder.
Right. Moving on. Let's say our prayers and give our prayers to Los Angeles Angels pitcher / DH Shohei. I can't say his name. Ohtani.
That's why I'm looking at you.
I always mess his name up. But Ohtani has been placed on a DL with a sprained UCL and expected to miss weeks.
And I heard it's the same one that was sprained last year.
Yeah, man. Bruh. We just talked about this last week.
Yeah. Weeks.
Weeks.
That's a bad injury.
And if it's the injury from last year, the same injury.
Exactly. And
like,
now it's sprained. So what's gonna happen next? It's gonna be
they
torn.
have to be sick. Yeah. Because I know that all they're thinking is Derrick Rose. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He'll have to get that. If he ends up having to get that Tommy John surgery, because that's what
That's
that
what that
ligament,
is, right.
like, may entail. So that'll be at least a year, maybe a year and a half.
Right.
Out.
Well, let's pray it's not.
But even when they come back from Tommy John, a lot of people do come back
Yeah.
and they stronger.
Right. That is good.
They do good. And you would hate for it to happen, but if it's gonna happen, let it happen so that you can move on, as opposed to him not performing to where he can perform because of the injury.
Right. Yeah. So, man, and definitely we want to give our prayers out to
Deep prayers.
Houston Texans safety Andre Howell, who announced that he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So,
Prayers out to you, bro.
yeah, that's like, man,
Prayers.
and the fact that he had the courage to come out and say it. Now, if you can do the research, and I had his name and I didn't have it down, I didn't write it down, but they had a player. I think he's an offensive lineman. You know who he is?
I know his last name's Quisenberry.
Yeah, Quisenberry. He had the same condition, and he came back to play the last 2 weeks of the season last year. So,
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hal and everybody out there
Right.
fighting cancer. And big ups and beat it.
yeah, man, let's make sure he beats it. But other than that, before we let quick hits go, I know we're about to get into this NBA later on, but just your initial thoughts on. I mean, we got to do it. It is nothing, but whatever. We're sports, so on LeBron walking off. Did you have a? Because they try to make a big deal. The announcer said it. I don't know if you paid attention. You probably was knocked out.
Yeah, I
so
was.
so LeBron James walked out. He didn't congratulate the team after the game was over, but before the game, he did go to the starters. He went to the starters, and the I can't think of the announcer's name, but he had made mention of that. But shout out to Mark Jackson. They was like, nah, he did dap him up before he left.
I'm right with Mark Jackson.
Yeah, because I don't think it was nothing. And I like what Mark said. Mark was like, I mean, let's be real. When this is not a tough situation,
This
you give
is
your
a tough
all.
situation. Like
Yeah,
he lost 4-0. Yeah, he lost 4-0. Like
it's a tough situation.
And I'm with these punks behind me anyway. So
right,
bad.
and you gave your all.
Yeah,
and then
I know we're gonna get into it. I don't want to take none from LeBron. He gave his all, bro. All. He gave his all.
Yeah,
so he dapped up the starters and he left.
And he dapped before
right.
when they took him out, and he dapped up the starters.
That was
after,
bad.
Yeah,
that was or the 5 on the court. Maybe not the starters, the 5 on the court, right?
The 5 on the court.
Right.
And then after that,
that's it. That's game. I respect
I'm with
that.
him.
That's cool.
I get it.
That's cool.
So look, that's going to wrap up quick hits. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm your girl Crystal Dayon, and this is your sports news break. The Atlanta Braves lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers 7-3 on last night. starting pitcher Brandon McCarthy gave up 3 home runs on a total of 5 hits. The Golden State Warriors swept the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, making this the 3rd time in 4 years they have beat the Cavaliers for the NBA championship. Kevin Durant was named Finals MVP for the 2nd year in a row. The Atlanta United will travel to New York to face the New York City FC in a huge game for the United. Also, the Atlanta United's forward, Joseph Martinez, was named MLS Player of the Week. Make sure to follow the 3-Point Conversion for all your major sports news updates. It's where fans' opinions matter.
The sun's out, the kids are home, and you're ready to make this summer one they'll never forget. Well, gather up the family and head over to Lake Winnie, the South's favorite family amusement park, and Sokia Water Park, where there's excitement for everyone. The little ones light up on the flying elephants and the bumblebee ride. Get your thrill-seeking hearts racing as you experience 4.6 G's of excitement on the Ozone. Splash down on the Winnie 500 racing slides, and the magic of the genie has returned. Satisfy your taste buds with a legendary funnel cake and a refreshing Coca-Cola. With so much to offer and so close to home, Lake Winnie and Sokia are the perfect place for any family to have fun together. Now open Wednesday through Monday, closed Friday, June 8th. Every Wednesday and Sunday, save $5 on unlimited rides and slides with a coupon from area McDonald's. For more information, call 877-525-3946 or visit lakewinnie.com.
This is Av Stanley, senior writer for the 3-Point Conversion, and you know I'm listening to Mr. Controversy and D Intellectual on the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Tell them what's going on.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Mr. Controversy and D Intellectual here in the building. And this next segment is brought to you by Seneca's Barbershop, which is located on Chapel Hill Road, 3000 Chapel Hill Road, Suite 206, Douglasville, Georgia. And shout out to them guys. Right now they're doing some remodeling, so if you're trying to get a haircut right now, they're not open. They will be back, I think, this Monday. The brand new shop. Wonder what it's going to be. Probably going to see the commercial next week. So, but man, shout out to them guys, man. Like some real guys, some men, you know. I hate the term when people say real man. No, it's a man is a man. I mean, you might have bad man, but it's a man. Don't say real man. I hate that term.
You said it can't be no fake man.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, so, but shout out to them guys though. Like I said, man, they doing big. They're all about the community. You know, all about culture, professional. Talk sports, do it all, man. Like I said, you can't go wrong with them. And shout out to my man Dwayne Chambers, who is making house calls, man. Like, you know, so
you say he getting to that bag, huh?
Yeah.
He's not waiting. He's not waiting till next week. He's getting to that bag.
Shout out to them. So, excuse me. Now, the hot topic. This is the segment, the hot topic, and this T.O. Some guy named T.O., Terrell Owens,
T.O.
got inducted finally to the NFL, to the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And now he's saying that he doesn't want to go.
That's T.O.
T.O. There's been a lot of flack about that. He's gotten a lot of flack. I'm not going to lie. When I first heard, I had it, you know, I already had my mindset on, you know, oh, this is what it should be. But lately, I've changed a little bit. I'm going back and forth. Yeah. But I'm going to start with you, D. How do you feel about this situation?
I'm kind of 50-50 with it.
Right.
Because I understand, you know, I mean, think about it. The NFL didn't really like T.O., right? The
Right.
media didn't like T.O.
Mm-hmm.
T.O. was undeniably, in my opinion, should have been no question first ballot. You know what I mean? I mean, no. If there's a vote, the vote should have been overwhelmingly first ballot. I'm talking about. Look at his stats. Stats speaks for themselves. He was dominant. So I understand why he's doing it. I heard somebody say he's disrespecting the other players that are going in. I don't feel that way. But to me, this is T.O. Like, it's T.O. This what he do. But I do think that if he accepts the invitation, because I think it still could change, you know, I think your speech could be what do it for you, as opposed to holding out and not going. Your speech can be a bigger impact than not going.
Right. And once again, call in at 404-603-8770 if you want to give your 3 cents on the situation.
I looked into this because it's something that, you know, no one ever thinks of that you're not going to go to the ceremony. But it has to do with, it's either one of two things. One, he has no friends in the NFL anymore, or two, he's broke. And this is what I mean by he may be broke, because with the Hall of Fame inductees, you have to, the Hall will pay for the travel and lodging, you know, for you and your family or whoever else is going on your behalf. But you are also responsible for certain events that go on during the weekend. Every inductee has their own like little party. Mm-hmm. Like last year, Jerry Jones had Justin Timberlake perform at his Hall of Fame induction party. So imagine the kind of money that would be spent for that. Right. Is T.O. up for doing all of that? It's possible that he's not, because either he doesn't want to, and no one will come to the party.
That's what I was thinking.
Or he can't afford the party.
And
off what you saying about he had no NFL friends, well, if he had a party, who's gonna come?
Well,
and then a lot of times
T.O. has a lot of friends though.
With what you have to pay for, with what the inductees have to pay for, sometimes a team that they played for the longest, if they play for multiple teams, or the one team they played for, will pay for all of that. They'll pay for everything. But is a team that T.O. played for going to do it? Right. Probably not.
And see, I never thought about it that way. And again, call in at 404-603-8770 to give your 3 cents. I never thought about it like that, because first I thought he was trying to make a statement. And if he was trying to make a statement, first thing I thought of is, would it be right? You know, is it like D said, he could have came in and actually, you know, did a speech and made a speech, and it would have had better taste. But of course, if you're trying to prove something, and whether it's a protest or not, who cares about better taste? I mean, this will get the attention that you want. You know what I'm saying? Not true enough.
And it is.
He definitely would have got attention if he would have said a speech, but this would have gotten this will get the attention.
It's unprecedented.
You know, right. But I'm on the fence, because it's like, bruh, the Hall of Fame didn't say, all right, you're not worthy of it until your third. No, that was these little scrawny little voters that hadn't played football.
Isn't it the media voters?
It's us.
Do it?
It's us.
I can't.
It's us.
My.
It's us. And for that reason, you know, I felt him, because he's first ballot. You don't be top 3 in touchdowns.
And it's not just touchdowns, it's like almost everything.
Yards,
like
second,
yards,
third,
receptions.
Yeah, you can't,
like top 3, almost everything. Like,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Come on.
You know?
Someone in the chat, Michael, says it's like going to high school or college graduation, not going to high school or college graduation because the teachers don't like you. I think that's going with the
kind of, but the teachers isn't the media.
But that's what he's saying, though.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Right.
You know, and I feel that. Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to answer this.
I feel that.
Sorry, I was kind of zoned at the last like 30 seconds, but I think the phone was ringing, and then they hung up. But
yeah, call in again, y'all.
If you call back.
We got you.
There was a writer or voter that said that he wouldn't have voted for him if he knew he wasn't going to show up. And the first thing I thought it was like, when did this become the Hall of Feelings?
Exactly.
Right.
Like even on T.O. side, like everybody's side, it's like, for real? Yeah. Like, look at what he's done. The media are the voters, so they didn't vote him in because of he didn't talk to the media. He didn't like the media. He whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and
come on.
I mean, again, yes, he should have been in there, but bruh, it's like that side of me is like, you're in the Hall of Fame now. You got in.
I think the players should vote.
I always said it should be players, a mix of players,
coaches,
and some media, and then the Hall himself.
Why the media, though?
I mean, just because that's just what it is. Media always, because medias are the ones at, covering this. You have fans. Well, that's why I said part of fans, but media is at every game.
They cover the sport.
They cover the sport.
From their perspective, they could see if someone's good
they
or
know,
not.
right.
But sometimes, just like with T.O., the relationship that player has with the media plays too big a role.
Yeah, it plays
It's probably
way
a
too
bigger
big
problem
role.
with baseball than football, but it still happens.
Yeah. Definitely with baseball.
Yeah,
Definitely
baseball.
with baseball.
We see it in baseball.
Barry,
Basketball,
Barry.
Yeah.
Barry.
But look, with basketball, it's if you had if
don't-
you average
yeah,
over
it
20
don't.
points a game, you're
You
in.
would-
Like, they don't care.
Average 20 and 5.
Yeah.
20 and 7, you can go to the Hall of Fame.
Automatically, yeah.
Wait, what?
And I never understood that.
Yeah.
But again, like I say, it's unfortunate. I wonder what's going to happen with this. But again, like you stated, D, would you expect anything less from T? This is T.O. This was his season.
Nothing.
I mean, this was his career. It was because, and the thing was, T.O. never got in trouble outside of football.
Ever.
Never did anything outside. But yet still,
Ever.
he always had this way of, I guess, stepping on toes or making people feel uncomfortable.
Because he was a black man speaking what he wanted to speak.
No, I ain't got nothing to do with that. No, the way the whatchamacallit was cool. McNabb was cool, but
McNabb. You say McNabb was cool?
the McNabb situation.
Oh,
I'm with
okay.
McNabb because we talked about Freddie Mitchell. But when you go into every team, bruh, you can't blame that because it's a lot of black man whoever speak. There's a lot of people speak their mind.
What Jeff Garcia do after he left San Francisco after T.O. was gone?
He wasn't that good.
I don't know. Yeah, he was 38 years old too when he got in the league, but I mean, but he wasn't that good. But what I'm saying is, I'm just saying, it's like with who are we talking about that played for that Boston let go, the baseball player. After a while, when you get
Hanley
Ramirez, when you go to several teams, I don't care what excuse you have. If you're 4 or 5 teams and you keep getting in trouble, whether it's not, I can't now.
What kind of trouble though? Because you saying
not trouble.
Have you heard his team?
trouble?
Have you heard a lot of his teammates come out and say that T.O. was a horrible teammate? Because what we did learn was that McNabb has not been the greatest.
Right. No, we've heard some players say he was good, but then I've heard some players say they didn't like T.O. Like shout out to Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas have came out and said, why T.O. rubbed him the wrong way or whatever. And that's T.O. I mean, let's be honest. I don't want to really get into who he is, but
right.
this man, he went through a lot. His father lived next door. He was raised by his grandmother, and sometimes you pick up certain tendencies. And you saw it, and I think that...
So I didn't know that. You said his father
lived next door, and he didn't even know it. Across the street, and he didn't even know it. So... my thing is, T.O.'s been through a lot, and it shows through his character.
Definitely.
You can't.
Definitely.
That's why I say, we're not giving him the out because he's a great player, or because we.
But even with all that, right, it shouldn't impact his Hall of Fame.
No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't.
And that seems like what happened, right? That seems like exactly what happened.
Yeah, it did. But it's. I just can't wait to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to change his mind?
I think he's going to come. I think he is going to come.
But anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back to talk some NBA Finals. We're about to get in. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Diana Taurasi from the Phoenix Mercury, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
Are you tired of limiting yourself from tasty food because you want to eat healthy? Well, Salad Express will fix that problem for you. Salad Express is a gourmet salad and grill restaurant that gives you multiple options to satisfy your taste buds and keep you healthy. They have over 40 toppings, which are all cut fresh daily, and 7 homemade soups, including chili. You can also order hot sandwiches and wraps, with choices like grilled chicken, steak, salmon, and shrimp, which can all be added to salad as well. Go ahead and visit them today at 1055 Mansell Road, Suite 600 in Roswell, Georgia. Your taste buds will thank you.
What's up? This is Anthony Hamilton, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Talking sports, getting it in, telling the truth, and shaming the devil. Mr. Controversy here with my man, D Intellectual. And so, again, you said you about fell asleep. I'm not going to lie. I watched the game. It was, you know what? Honestly, watching the game, I guess, as someone said, you start to feel sorry for LeBron. I've been a non-LeBron fan for the longest.
Me too, but I'm gonna give him his
right.
You got to give him his props. Look, he worked hard,
and I was never a LeBron fan. Like, not with a hate. I'm saying I was just never a big LeBron fan at first, and then when he joined Miami, me being a Bulls fan,
right. And so that's the whole. That's what people don't understand where it come from. Yeah. It come from him, whether it was Cleveland or Miami. It's against the Bulls.
He was so with that. That's why I never, and I always felt like his game could be better. But like I said, these last 2 years, I've grown to,
respect the greatness.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just it's all right.
And then I felt bad, but
especially this season.
Yeah,
this finals.
Yeah, it was like, man,
it was.
But anyway,
and he was still the best player on the court.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. But anyway, we have to bring in family here, the 3-Point Conversion NBA correspondent, my man, Mr. Joel Cortez. What's going on, Joel?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, man. You're always welcome, sir. Now, we talked about the NBA Finals and what happened basically. I guess my question to you, I want to ask you is, when you think about this Golden State Warriors team and 3 championships in 4 years, they've been great every year. Even when they lost, they were up 3-1. So where do you rank this team, this Golden State team, as far as like a dynasty for the last 4 years with other great teams? Like, where do you rank them?
I can't put them on the level of the Jordan Bulls yet, obviously, because we're talking 6 championships and 2 different three-peats there. I can't put them on the level of the Bill Russell Celtics when you're talking 11 championships. But I can move them past the Shaq and Kobe Lakers at this point, and I know that the Lakers made 4 finals in a row as well. But I think the dominance that we've seen and the way that these guys have changed the game nudges them not that far past those Lakers, but it does put them on a slightly different plane in my mind. Those Lakers, they were great. Obviously, they were dominant. The league had no answer for them, but they didn't necessarily change everything about the game. I'd probably put these Warriors past the Spurs. That was a dynasty, but it was a spread-out dynasty over the course of a decade and never had that back-to-back win to hang its hat on. So Warriors, in the past, they had already moved past the Hakeem Rockets. They'd already moved past the Bad Boys Pistons. And now I look at these Warriors, and I think they're on the same level as the Showtime Lakers. That's where they sit on the perch, slightly above Shaq and Kobe, but those Showtime Lakers really revolutionized the game during their era, too.
Absolutely. I think I probably can agree with that. That's a good comparison. Do you think LeBron deserves to get a pass for leaving, and what option do you personally think is possible?
Well, I've said all along that I thought there was a greater chance of LeBron James staying in Cleveland unless they got swept by the Warriors. And now that has happened, I think we move to a 50-50 shot. There's a couple of big factors that we could see him in Cleveland for at least one more year. The fact that they've got the number 8 draft pick, the fact that he has a GM in Kobe Altman who really reshuffled the entire deck for that team in the middle of the season. Obviously, his family is in Cleveland. He said that's very important. He's got that legacy in Cleveland. He's got enough of a ticking clock that he's going to check his options. We know that. But it's not ticking so bad that he couldn't sign a one-year deal in Cleveland again, see how things go, see if they get a better shot at it, and then I think we would talk next year about there being a much greater chance if they can't put something together. On the flip side, though, that clock is ticking, like I said. There are going to be, every single team in the league is going to come and try to talk to him with a straight face, even though there's only 5 or 6 that he might even consider at all. And he's going to have to look at that legacy aspect of it again. People will give him a pass if he leaves Cleveland. People will understand this time. There's not going to be any jersey burning or anything like that. He got them a ring. He got them 3 other appearances. He proved his greatness. But there still will be that legacy knock, I think, if he goes, that yes, he could lead a 4th team and a 3rd franchise to the finals, and he very much could do that now. But I think if he leaves, there's going to be that feeling that he left teams multiple times when he couldn't get it done and then latched on somewhere else. That's unfair because obviously he carried this Cavaliers team, but that narrative is going to follow him if he goes this way.
Yeah, it definitely will.
You got to give him a pass. I mean, and
he deserves it. I can't even not say that he has been great.
Yeah, so you have to give him a pass. And once again, we're here live with the 3-point conversion NBA correspondent, Mr. Joel Cortez, and you can follow him on Twitter at @bballjoel. Now, going back to the Warriors, Steve Kerr, people have said he inherited a Mark Jackson team. It was already there. It was already assembled. But with him winning the 3rd championship in 4 years, do you feel that he is underrated as an NBA head coach?
I don't think he's underrated at all. I think he's right where he needs to be at this point. I think those Mark Jackson hesitations, they were real early on, and Mark Jackson did a ton of good things with those Warriors. He taught them to defend. He gave them a real edge. He gave confidence, irrational confidence, to some of those young guys, like Curry and Clay. But Steve Kerr was the guy who was able to take that foundation that Mark Jackson had built there and really improve upon it. They just became much more not only freewheeling on offense, but more free thinking in general, whether it was about their schemes, whether it was about team chemistry, whether it was about a partnership with the entire organization instead of an us versus them mentality that was very pervasive with Mark Jackson being there. So a lot of credit goes to Mark Jackson and helping get this started. I think everybody's been willing to give him that. But we place Steve Kerr now in the same sentences as a Greg Popovich, as a Phil Jackson, as some of the great NBA head coaches of all time, not because he's there yet, there's still many more years to go, but because he's on that track. And he certainly is now in the realm of the guys who won multiple championships, whether you want to talk about Chuck Daly in Detroit or Rudy Tomjanovich in Houston. But Steve Kerr is as much a part of that Warriors DNA as any of the players. He's the one who really has allowed all of those different personalities to fit together. That takes nothing away from what happens on the basketball court, and the great thing is Steve Kerr will be the first guy to tell you that.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think him, like you said, making it a partnership instead of a us versus them, I think that was real big.
Talking with Steve Kerr and
with Steve Kerr and the owners and the GM and the players, and I think that's real huge, and it just shows throughout the organization. What do you think it would, with them being said, what do you think it would take for an NBA team to beat or even be a type of Golden State organization?
I think it's coming. I did a bunch of radio spots last week and took a lot of flack for saying this is the last time that we'll see this Warriors-Cavaliers matchup because it's the ending of some empires here. And whether LeBron stays in Cleveland or goes, I don't think we see the Cavaliers in the finals next year. And I'll say it again, despite the dominance of Golden State, it is not a guarantee that we see this Warriors team in the finals again next year, because there are teams, Houston Rockets included, who are stacking up and learning how to beat them. The checks are coming due. The bills are coming due in Golden State now for the enormous salary that they've run. And, yeah, they're going to continue to be able to pay their big four. But guys like Andre Iguodala, clearly, as great as he played in those last couple games of the finals, he is running out of gas to be a difference maker during an 82-game season. They had to hide him in the starting lineups for the longest time. Sean Livingston has been capped at about 15 minutes a game throughout this series, and throughout the playoffs, I should say. David West was a guy that they relied on heavily last year, who they had difficulty finding a role for this year. They've been trying out a bunch of young guys. It's the bench that erodes when you get into these long-term title teams, and that's what's happening right now. And then you look at a Golden State team like that where if they're so top-heavy, without those young guys coming up underneath, they can't keep hitting home runs on, finding guys in the second round. All it takes is for one star, two stars to get hurt for a long period of time, and for this enormous run of luck that they've had, this good luck that they've had with their injury issues. You get one guy hurt for a season, two guys that are gone for a long period of time, and suddenly the Warriors are not so special anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joel, because at one point in the season, I think you had Durant and you had Curry injured, but it wasn't that significant. It happened at the end of the year, but they pretty much wrapped up, this number 2 spot, and they came back before the playoffs. I just think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, even when you think about the Chicago Bulls, they were never injured at the wrong time, except for when they were irrelevant when Jordan's second year, and he still came back in the playoffs and went crazy.
Yeah, but during them 6 years,
never.
We know Scottie back was hurting at times, but it was never
right.
Right. None of those guys were ever lost for the season, and even think back to the Shaq and Kobe three-peat. Would that have been a four-peat if Karl Malone doesn't get hurt at exactly the wrong time for a super top-heavy team during that final year? And, yeah, they had all those chemistry issues going on and all that stuff, but they were rolling until Karl Malone got hurt, and all of a sudden that lack of depth caught up to them in a big way. You are sometimes one bad break away from an empire completely toppling underneath you.
Absolutely.
Right. So we thank you, Joe, for coming on. We definitely appreciate you. And once again, you can follow Joe on Twitter at bballjoe. Once again, that's at bballjoe. Appreciate you for coming on, sir. You're always welcome. There's going to be some interesting things that happen in this off season. So, of course, we're going to have you back. But you have a great and wonderful weekend, sir.
Hey, I appreciate you guys a lot. Keep it up.
Thanks, you. Man. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with what's on our mind.
This is Sam Freeman with the Atlanta Braves, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
What it is, what it ain't. This your boy Sherm, host of Face the Music. Join me every Wednesday night for Power Hour, where we intersect the worlds of sports and music, and we do it the best way we can, which is on a Sherm beat. So if you're ready to come through, catch some realness, vibe to some dope sounds, tune in to Face the Music every Wednesday on the 3 Point Conversion station. Let's get it.
It's time to get in the mind of Mr. Controversy and the Intellectual with What's on My Mind.
Yes, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Live. And
hey, your mic was open, okay?
no, last segment you did like that, so I'm like, okay, he on it today, okay. I was just waiting for the point.
You're on.
He looking at me like, what? But anyway, that was a great segment, man. Great segment. Appreciate Joe once again.
Appreciate you, Joe. Always a good time talking to you.
Yes, sir. And this next segment, What's on Our Mind, is brought to you by Sucker Free Life LLC. Make sure you live your truth for the world to see, because everyone can be sucker free. Purchase your apparel today exclusively at facebook.com/Sucker Free Life LLC. And before I go any further, man, shout out to Justify. The horse Justify won the Belmont, Triple Crown, whatever. I don't watch horse racing. I can't get into it unless I catch it like at the end, but I'm not about to watch 2 hours of them talking about it.
I don't have to explain to us.
Huh?
I don't have to explain to us.
Right.
Was that the last one?
Yeah, that happened yesterday.
Oh, so he won the Triple Crown. Won all three?
No, that's what it said. There was some. I think he was going for the Triple Crown, but Justify won. I don't.
If he won the Triple Crown, that's big news.
No, I don't think he won the Triple Crown. I don't think he did. Go look it up. I don't. But like I said, he didn't win it. He didn't win. But I know Justify won. But yeah, like I said, I don't watch it. Then the fact that it was on a Friday, I
had a homie that be going actually to the Kentucky Derby. He actually said it's fun. He said it'd be a lot of
that's what I heard.
hats, though.
That's what I heard. It's all fun. But anyway, that should be What's on My Mind. Why is the horse racing sport?
Then.
But anyway, this segment, like I said, is What's on My Mind, What's on Our Mind. And this is when we talk about what's on our mind.
Real good. The race is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, what are they talking about? They said.
Well, he had a good workout.
So why are they saying he go to? I was looking at it on. They were saying.
Well, no. If he wins, then he wins.
So Justify needs to
win it.
So he won the first two.
So what was yesterday though? Everybody, it was like.
That's what I was going to say.
Because the race is on Sunday and
that's what
Justify's in town.
Because that's what I said when I saw him. I thought it was on a Saturday or Sunday, but
the race is always on a Sunday.
So why are they making it a big deal? Why is it headline?
Because it's coming up,
and it's the Triple Crown, and it's the Triple Crown.
He won the first two, so
when the last time someone won a Triple Crown?
It was just a few years ago, but that was the first time in like at least 35 years.
So he's not gonna win tomorrow, probably.
I think he win, man. I heard he's good, So I heard he's good.
Well, shout out to him, and I hope he does win the Triple Crown.
But anyway. This What's on My Mind segment, this is where we talk about what's on our mind. And like I said, it should be what's on my mind. But
he had to bring it back.
Yeah, we just talk about, what's been bothering us or what we don't understand or what we do want or do like in sports. And here it is. This is what's on my mind. So, yes, once again, we always talk about, we don't want to talk about LeBron James. But honestly, this is a big issue, and this is what was on my mind, actually, since the playoffs, and it's been lingering. And if he got swept, that's what I was thinking. If he got swept, how would we view him? Or how would I view him? But then again, what would happen if he leaves? But after watching the finals, like we stated, you understand because he had no help. He gave his all, nothing to show for it. And it made me think, I'm thinking last night after watching him leave, I'm like, Jordan is, the greatest. Muhammad Ali is, some people think he's probably, as far as his personality and what he was to sports, not just in his sport, but just who he was probably the greatest when it comes to that, as far as entertaining and just, you always want to see what he's going to do next. But I think the most difficult to judge has to be LeBron James. Whether you want to say if he's the greatest, if he's a sellout, if he's wrong. And the reason why I say that is his first time when he left Cleveland, I wasn't mad that he left Cleveland. I was more so mad at the fact that he joined with two other big-time players, and then he joined somebody else's team. I didn't like that. I thought that was punk, because we weren't used to that. It had just started the super team era. But now, he turned that team into his team, Miami. Then he comes back to Cleveland, picks his team. Everybody wants to get on him for that. Picks his team, and he does win a championship. First time in franchise history. Now he switches the team again, and you see what he has. So you look at all of that, and some people say, oh, he's the greatest because he's been to finals 8 years in a row. But at the same time, he's 3-5. No, he's 3-6 now. He's been 9 in a row. No, 8 in a row, and he went 9, and he's 3-6. So with him being 3-6, oh, he's not the greatest. He's not this. But again, look who he took to the finals, and look at his teammates. Now, then you can go back and say, well, the East was horrible this year. It was weak, and they played Toronto. But still, it's like, how do you judge this guy? That's why you either you hate him or you love him. There's no in between, because it's so hard to judge this guy. With Jordan, you hated Jordan because Jordan annihilated your team. He kept going to the finals. Or you love him because of his superhero acts and everything like that. Magic, it's unless you was a Boston fan, I can't see too many people hating the Magic. But like, even with Kobe, you hated Kobe because Kobe was trying to be like Jordan, or after what he said about Shaq, or you love Kobe. But you can never take away from what he did on the court. Everybody can say Kobe's great, whether you think he's number 1, number 2, whatever. But Kobe's great. But with LeBron, because of so much going on, because he switched teams here, he's probably going to switch teams again. He's gone to the final 8 straight times, but yet still he's 3-6. But the teams he had, especially in 2 of those matchups, 2 of those finals, were horrible. So where do you put him? How do we really talk about how, where do we rank him? Is he this great, or is he not? Is he the best, or whatever? And I just say right now, let's just enjoy it, man. I mean, you will never figure it out. You're going to get a headache, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, it's so many cons. So many pros, but then you have cons as well. And it's like, I don't know, man. Every time I think of him, I think of Shabby. He's a complicated guy. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. And that's what's on my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. That's how you feel. Definitely.
Yeah, man. I just can't. I'm not, like I said, it's sometimes, though, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But then again, like with these players suck. But at the same time, you chose this. You
kind of chose them.
But to see him play the way he plays. And then And I'll say this, and I'll let you
bad
go.
too.
Right. Yeah, and I'll say this, and I'm gonna let you go, D. You know, a lot of people saying that LeBron James is the greatest, and he's the greatest, or he's great or better than this guy because of what he did in the finals this year and in the playoffs. But he had to. You don't think Mike could have done none of this? Mike was doing this.
You know, remember I told you I spoke on that. Most points, most rebounds, most steals, most assists, most blocks, most over the 4 finals. So that's a great stat to have, right? But that's a bad stat to have.
Yes, that means you don't have help.
That is a
and
bad stat to have.
I guarantee you, LeBron James doesn't want to have to score 35 a game, average 11 rebounds, and get 8 or 9 assists a game, and play 48 and a half minutes when it's only 48 minutes.
KD's greatest game was LeBron's just another day at the office.
Yeah, because he don't have to do all of that. And it's not because you're great. But, I mean, a lot of people can't do it.
But to KD's point, he shouldn't have to do all of that.
Right. Go ahead, man.
So speaking of KD and you know everything he's done in his career and all of that, what's on my mind is KD. And you know, he has came out and said he want to be one of the greatest and all of this. So in my opinion, I think he would have to leave Golden State to be considered one of the greatest, to be one of the greats. Being down 3-1 to them and then going to Golden State, you know, we all felt some type of way about it. And I think I may have felt differently about it than most people. It's not that he left OKC, but dude, you were up 3-1, and you can't give Oklahoma City even one more chance to beat them. If you had went and played Golden State again and maybe got swept or they beat you again, then you go to Golden State, okay, you know, then. But you up 3-1, and now to go to them, yeah, you won 2 in a row, yeah, you won 2 Finals MVP, but you still right now not even the best player in the league. You probably like the 3rd best player in the league or 2nd best somewhere. You know, there's an argument for him and James Harden. But I think to be considered great, he is going to have to go back to OKC to win a ring or go to Washington and win a ring. But I think an impact with that is that how comfortable he is in the Bay Area, and it's not just a team. You know, Joe spoke earlier on how the organization is just partners. Everybody's partnering. He's also probably making a lot of money off the court, and I don't mean necessarily with gym shoes or clothing or anything like that. The Bay Area is a tech area. It's an area where a lot is going on, so he's probably making a lot of off the court money, which is probably going to be very impactful of why he wouldn't leave. But when I think of legacy and being a great one, I don't think he can stay in Golden State and win all of these rings and necessarily be considered one of the greats. He's still going to have that asterisk. Everybody's going to say, but yeah, he went to a 73-9 team. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he had 4 All-Stars, 3 All-Stars. And as me and one of my friends was talking, if you want to include Iguodala's MVP in the finals, he's playing with 2 MVPs. What team has 6 All-Stars and 3 MVPs on one team? Like that's almost unheard of, which is definitely true. But I think if he goes to Washington to go home, and even if he went to the finals and lost, he took them to the finals, though. If he went to Oklahoma City and took them to the finals again, and I know he went earlier with Oklahoma City and they got destroyed by LeBron's Cleveland team. But if he does that now, and I honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it'll happen this year. I think this year he's going to go and try to definitely do the 3-peat. But I think after that, legacy-wise, like, that would be huge. Like, that would make you a great. Like, I don't think staying on Golden State for the next 7-8 years of the rest of his career, and yeah, they probably going to win a certain amount of rings, but like to what Joel said, teams are gunning up. Teams loading up. Teams trying to figure out how to beat him. And I think Houston is very close to finding the blueprint. People say if Chris Paul hadn't gotten hurt, they would have beat him. But I could say if Iguodala hadn't gotten hurt, they would have beat them. So, you know, you can't really go that way. They've had a lot of luck. People hadn't been injured for the season and things like that. I feel he should. And even like let's say he goes to Washington, right? You got John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. Like, that's some ammo. Like, that's some real ammo. And John Wall gives the ball up. He don't have a problem with giving the ball up. But I feel like to be a great for his legacy, he's gonna have to leave Golden State, and I definitely can see it happening. And that's what's on my mind.
Yeah, I agree. This legacy, he needs to go somewhere else to say that you carried a team.
Right.
And especially, even with this era super team, you still have to be that guy. I really think that he helped, Golden State helped him out.
And to that point, right, you know how in Game 3 he told them, I got this? Right, I got this. Don't worry about it. Why you couldn't say that for one game in OKC?
Right,
Y'all was
right.
down. You was up 3-1. You
right.
couldn't say one game.
Right.
I got this.
So look, we're gonna
Westbrook said it first.
Look, we're gonna take a quick break. Yeah, and last, I'm gonna leave it. Like you said, Durant should leave. Move around, man. Move around as much as D move around his mic when he's doing his What's on My Mind. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna be right back.
AM 1100. The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
What's going on, world? This your boy Vincent J, aka the Fantasy Guru. And do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It's time for the Stop It segment, right here on the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
No mercy. Don't let up on him. Go hard on him, Mr. Controversy. Hit him with the Stop It button.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And we thank everyone for listening, who's listening live. We appreciate everybody. I promise you, we always recognize that. So we thank everyone who's watching Facebook Live, listening live on the radio, or you're listening on TuneIn, Radio Now, iHeart. We appreciate you. Even if you're listening right now as a podcast, when you hear this part, we appreciate you.
Facebook,
and
everything.
Yes, and this next segment, the Stop It segment, is brought to you by Salad Express. And let's get on to this Stop It. It's the most infamous.
The most famous.
The most famous Stop It segment. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Stop, hey. Stop, 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 stop. Stop it! Stop it, stop it.
Yes, S-T-O-P, new word, I-T. Stop it!
Stop it. Get some help.
So you, D, what you have, sir?
So what I got for a Stop It this week is, it was an interview this week with Scottie Pippen and Iguodala, and Steve Kerr came out and said Iguodala was as great, if not better, I believe, than Scottie Pippen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a Stop It. Scottie is a top 50 greatest player, and Iggy is a good player, but he's definitely not on Scottie Pippen's level.
Stop it. I don't. Like, I can't believe Steve Kerr actually said that.
Upping his guy, giving his team his player that's on his team that confidence and woo. But man, Scotty need to go do what Jordan did to him back in the day.
Yeah, like bro, you can't. That's not a.
No, it's not. Nah,
you can't compare him.
Stop it.
Right, and Iggy's good. I like him, but nah, man.
And the funny thing is, Iguodala don't even start. He's just starting for this Cleveland's matchup. That's it.
And think about what Scotty did that year Mike left.
Yeah.
I mean, Iguodala does a little bit of everything, but a guy like the thing is with a guy like Scotty, he still needed. He didn't carry a team, but he was still a very important piece to where if he wasn't in the lineup, the team's gonna struggle because he's the one who made plays, but it wasn't to the magnitude of maybe his other teammates like Jordan. But with Iguodala, it's the same thing because he has Curry and Durant. He's an important piece, but I think Scotty was still he's able to still do more. Just look at his 94 season.
But he did carry a team because he was one bad call away from the finals.
Who?
Scotty. The Hubert Davis call.
Yeah.
Right,
the Hubert Davis call. That was a phantom call.
G, you're saying that Scotty didn't carry a team?
No, I'm saying that he did better carrying a team during that season than Iguodala was when he was with the Sixers.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like you said,
that was a blown call. We saw that on the front of Sun Times the next morning. He did not touch Hubert Davis at all.
But anyway, don't get me mad. So my stop it moment, or who should get a stop it, is he should just get a stop it, just period. But for this, so number 45, President 45, asks NFL players to recommend people for pardons. Like,
stop it.
He said, "I'm going to ask all of those people to recommend to me." To those who felt like they were unfairly treated and by the justice system, and I will go back and look at it in my committee, and if we feel so, we'll go make it.
Stop it!
Like, come on, man! Like,
he thinks he's going to end racism this way.
No, but so now, this is the only thing that I'm not going to say I agree with, but why wouldn't we use this?
It's not the
Think
fact
about
that,
it. Why wouldn't you use it? A lady just got out of jail.
It's not.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. It's not the fact that.
Right. I know what you're saying.
But the fact that
it's a political.
It's BS.
It's for PR. It's for all that. But I'm gonna use it. Go talk to him.
That lady didn't get out of jail until Kim Kardashian went to talk to her.
So who cares? I don't care.
Like, you got to have a certain stature just to get an audience with
but
him.
you still should do it.
So who have a stature though in the NFL?
Nobody. But he's asking them.
No,
go and say it though.
After he just antagonized them though.
That's BS. What he's doing. What I'm saying is, all that right there was BS. That was just
it definitely is. But if I can get somebody out of jail that's in jail for life for nonviolent charge, I'm gonna go do it.
But that's not gonna happen with this. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna happen.
It's probably not gonna happen, but it should.
No,
why not go talk to him?
Yeah, it should.
Now I would go talk to him. You don't want to go talk to him because he called you an SOB?
No,
I don't care about that no more. It's about this lady that just got out of jail.
That's the lady. That's different. The NFL with this situation, this is BS because this has nothing to do with.
It's some political. He's trying to do it for PR. I get all of that, but if I can get a guy out for that's in jail for life that never committed a violent crime, I'm gonna go talk to him.
I think you're missing the point. I understand that part. What I'm saying is he's getting the stop because this part right there, that's BS. He's not doing that. He just said that so he can look good. The situation with Kim and all is different. This situation right here, he's just saying that just to be. I think he's really trying to rub it in on them and trying to be funny.
So maybe right? Maybe I'll agree with you. But if you could, I would go talk to him and get somebody out, even if you get one person out. And if he don't do it, then okay.
So you think they'll go and talk to him and Cameron?
It still don't have nothing to do with me kneeling.
Because what
if I kneel, I want to put my hand
up. What
up.
does he have to do with the NFL though?
Because the reason they're kneeling is because of injustices and the people. You see what Malcolm Jenkins did the other day, right? He put up how many people of color are in jail and the percentages that people get shot, that's people of color and all of this. So if all these people are in jail, right? and this is what you're kneeling for, then come talk to me about some people that you think are unjustly in prison, and we'll talk about it. Now, do I know he gonna let them out? Who knows?
Now, I ain't even talking about, forget that. Just the fact that you do all that, you I can't say what I want to say, but you do all that to these NFL players, and you be bogus like that, then you come out and you say something bogus. Like I just don't think. I think it's BS. And
it probably is, because look who we talking about.
Right, and
look who we talking about.
That's why I get to stop, because it's definitely because of what happened. It's some BS, man. It's some BS. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. We're going to talk about social media and sports.
Always.
What's up, Mr. Colangelo?
Let me break down to y'all what's so dope about the three-point conversion. First of all, everybody is a fan of the game first. Second of all, everybody is a student of the game second. And third of all, we're the average sports fan just like everybody else. We're not coming in here walking with our nose tipped high, acting snooty, acting brand new. This is a grassroots organization. Bar none. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Be sure to visit the website www.the3pointconversion.com. Get your fix, get your articles, multimedia, and everything else that you, as a sports fan, need. So again, the3pointconversion.com. It's where it's at, man, where fans' opinions matter.
Radio.
Tune in.
Now.
You can tune in to this radio station on any smartphone or tablet.
iPhone,
Android,
BlackBerry,
Nokia,
Samsung,
Windows phones,
or whatever you have. Download the free TuneIn app from your phone or tablet's app store.
Tune in with music, sports, news, and comedy.
From over 70,000 radio stations around the world, including this Beasley Broadcast Group station. Check it out at tunein.com.
Or your app store.
Sit back and relax. You're back in the three-point conversion with Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual.
Yes, we are back inside the three-point conversion sports lounge. Mr. Controversy, The Intellectual.
There go that beat.
Yep, there go that beat. We got G in the building. We have Crystal Dayan is in the building. What you got going on? Quickly.
Not too much, man. It's raining this weekend.
It's sunny outside, bro.
It's supposed to rain.
What you got, G?
How you know it's sunny outside? You ain't been
I was
outside
invited to a brunch.
You was invited to a brunch?
I don't know if I'm going, though.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute.
I don't get the brunch thing anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Like, why is it so popular with black people and all that?
Right.
Why? Because you can eat breakfast and lunch?
Absolutely.
Oh. I'm going to do that anyway.
What you got, Crystal?
Oh, I'm going to see Ocean's 8.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
You going to see who?
Sandra
Ocean's
Bullock.
8.
Sandra
Absolutely.
Bullock. Yeah,
and I love
it is.
brunch. It's so great.
Okay.
Day drinking.
See, you know what the problem with day drinking is? By 8 o'clock, you done.
Right.
You ready to get into bed. You done ate 3 times. You done drunk so much. You out here just, I'm going to take a nap and then wake up tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And then have a great night's sleep and wake up fresh the next morning. It's so great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you do. You wake up
Right.
ready to do it again because it's Sunday. Me a mimosa,
I'm
please.
chilling today, man. I'm trying to get this. I got to get this car fixed and
Sleep.
Yeah, I need to get. Chris has been saying I need to get some sleep, so I'm gonna make sure I get some sleep.
Yeah, go to the crib, chill.
Right. Yeah, I gotta get some
It's
sleep.
gonna rain. Sleep.
See, you know what that do? That rain and that sleep, boy, you be in a coma.
So look. So now we're here. We have to talk. Well, first of all, this situation that had been brewing for weeks, finally, results came out of it, and it was Mr. Brian Colangelo, GM of the 76ers at the time. It had been reported he was going on social media talking about his players, and not even, I'm talking about like not good things about his players. I'm saying like he was going in on them, and they let him go. They said they part ways. They agreed,
Mutually.
but basically he got fired. So that's
got a package.
Yeah, he got a package deal, which he shouldn't have. But so I want to talk about social media and sports. I mean, a lot of people look at social media, and even with the 3-point conversion, it's helped the 3-point conversion because it's your way of advertising, promoting. Even with sports in itself, not even just the players, but sports in itself, they're able to promote. They're able to show highlights, and you get to see that. So now you're enticed. Sometimes you can watch games streaming, but it's there to promote. But as of late, I don't think we've really talked or got into how it's hurt sports in general. So now my question to you guys are, how do you feel with social media? Is it hurting sports? And if it is it a way to fix it? Or do you think it's still helping more than hurting? And once again, call in at 404-603-8770 to give your 3 cents on the situation. What do you feel about the situation?
I think it's helping, and I think it's good because it's a part of society. That's what's going on in the world, and that's usually what happens with anything that you do, whether it's, you can look at Fox News or any news station. More than likely, that news anchor is going to have a handle, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, something. So that's what's going on. That's what happens in the world. That's the world that we live in. What it is people using it responsibly and not using it responsibly. And with Colangelo, right? Like what was it? So let's say it wasn't him, right? Let's say he wasn't going home talking to his wife about things that's going on, which I can't believe, because no matter what job you do, unless you like in the CIA or FBI or something, you're probably gonna go home and talk to your better half about what's going on in your workplace or whatever. So I don't know why she would do that. She's an older woman. That's not something that you should do. But I think the problem is how people use social media.
Right.
That's what it's more so about. Use it responsibly, then you okay. You're all good. But people don't use it responsibly. People put what they want. They put their whole life on and everything like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to know what's going on in your life that much.
Right. And, I want G to step into this. So with sports, not even this Colangelo situation, just with sports in general, do you feel it can hurt, or it has hurt more than?
It can. It seems like it can hurt because everything's more magnified, because people are more accessible to each other. The athletes are more accessible to the fans. Just celebrities in general are more accessible to their fans. Mm-hmm. And we're at an age where people are gonna troll, or gonna state their opinion, and have the option to do it for the most part anonymously. Yep. And some people take that personally. Like if his wife was involved, she took what was going on personally, and so she felt she had to defend her husband online anonymously. So, it's happened before. Like with Roger Goodell's wife did that. Kevin Durant had burner accounts to do that on social media. So it's going to happen. It was bound to happen if people are attacking somebody and their Twitter avatar is just an egg.
Right.
Then, there are going to be people who are going to defend certain people from behind an egg. So it was just a matter of her. She had confidential information, and she felt she had to defend her husband because she took it personally. It is her husband, so.
But
so she did.
Not even with this situation, because like you said, I agree with that part. But think about, and the funny thing is, most of the time, as you said, most of the time you get it to where it's like, what's her name, Kaliko. What's football players?
Oh, Miko Grimes.
Yeah, Miko Grimes.
Prince Grimes' wife.
Man, what do we always see with that? You know how she's getting on running her mouth and everything like that. But then look at what happened. And a lot of people always hating, but look at what happened to Laramie Thompson. Or Laramie, is it Thompson? Laramie Tunsil. When that situation came out, even though it was years ago, but when he came on with the face man, he was smoking the weed, whatever he was smoking.
Wasn't that a vindictive stepfather?
And that's my point. It's like with social media, you have so many other people you can't control, and they're coming in and ruining these people.
But
lives.
you also got to know who you have in your life.
Yeah, you
so if your woman do this, you know who she was. This is who your woman been.
But like 3 years later, like with Laramie Tunsil's stepfather, 3 years later, y'all was cool at that point. But then 3 years later, somebody, they mad at you, and it's okay, I got you. Or then like,
you gotta take that L. You gotta take that L.
You remember when who made Twitter? I think who got Twitter jumping, especially in the sports world, was Ocho Cinco. You remember how he used to tweet every game and all of that, and it was good. But now you have all these players going back and forth on Twitter. And yes, it's entertainment, but at the same time,
So here's something that I told my nephew and my son, right? Be wary of what you put up on social media, because it's always there. Even if you delete it, it's always there. So if you call yourself going to college or wanting to be this or going to be the next president of the United States of America, remember what you put out when you was 15 years old. You know what I mean?
So even with because I think the NFL stopped it where they can't. Was it the NFL or
during the game or
during
something?
The game,
during the game, they're not supposed to tweet.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half or an hour before the game. No, you can't do anything on social media. You can't even like a picture on Instagram.
Yeah, because
somebody's looking.
People was posting from the bench, like they were on the bench, like posting.
Ocho Cinco,
right?
So what about Durant? Then remember how Durant came in, and he would always. There was like 2 or 3 posts that he didn't put out.
To me, it shows your character, like what type of person you are. Like
so, and that's why I'm saying,
who has to do that? Like you got low self-esteem or something? Like what's going on?
He's Durant's one of those people. He takes everything personally, and
he does.
And maybe he used it to get motivated. You hear about how a lot of players have to do that sometimes. So he's actually reading all the articles about him and all the negative comments. Like he'll go into the comments section, which is just a wasteland, but he will do that as a way of trying to make himself feel better.
So let's go this route then. And once again, we're talking about social media and sports athletes. So not even them going in themselves and saying things or putting things up, but let's talk about the situations where, for instance, JaVale McGee. Now, yes, it's his fault that he's making these plays, but now when you get it, when it's shown 500 million times, on social media, you start to get a reputation of being, like that's why, like think about it. That's why LeBron James doesn't. That's why he didn't do dunk contests or anything like that. It's because he knew it could ruin him, and if it's shown on social media. I mean, that's how we remember things now.
Any business or anything or any brand that you have, you can put the wrong thing up. Roseanne Barr.
Right.
You put the wrong thing up on this social media, it'll change everything.
And sometimes what some people don't realize, if they're doing a lot of things on social media, it can be used as a tool to better society or whatever, but it can also be used as a weapon.
A weapon. Yep.
Like the examples used with Laramie Tunsil, with the rules as far as using social media before a game. People can use it as a weapon.
Yep.
Or you see how players are exposed by people when they're in private moments.
Yeah. It's just, like,
exactly.
I just
in
don't
private
think,
moments.
I just think that sometimes you got to be careful with social media. I love social media.
You got to be responsible.
I think
man.
social media is cool, but it can hurt you. Like I said, it can hurt you when you're not trying to do things, like you're not making your own statements, or you're not hurting yourself. Like I said, it's just it's a way that people look at see videos or whatever, and all of a sudden, like I said, LeBron James missed his dunk. Now it's 5 million times you didn't saw it. Now this joker. Now he's got Mr. Controversy saying, "Oh, this joker's garbage." You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think it could help, because if you're doing well, now all of a sudden people view you.
So with that being said, right, Facebook has this new commercial, right, where they're saying how they're changing Facebook, how when used for the right reason, it can be great, which is all social media is. So I have it, of course, for our show and to talk to people that I don't see like that, family members I don't see. So it's great for that and to give motivation and things like that. But if you don't use it for that, if you use it to be hateful or for any negative impact, it's going to be that.
But that's why I said sometimes, though, I mean, they're not even in control of it, and it comes back. And it hurts you.
With that, I think Colangelo should have gotten fired.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, but again, if he's not putting it up, and his wife, it's like that's just
he know who he married, so and that's how I feel about situations like that. You know who you marry,
bro.
That's what she do. If it wasn't social media, it was somewhere else.
I just couldn't imagine that. Look, we're gonna take a quick break. I can imagine going home and I see
he been with her for 20 years, and he say something, she go tell it to the what go on in this house stays in this house.
That wouldn't. I'd have had to give her a halftime speech. She got the halftime speech right then and there.
Yeah.
But look, we're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Marcus Banks to the Big Three of the Ghost Ballers. You listening to the Sports Lounge with my main man, Mr. Controversy.
Are you tired of limiting yourself from tasty food because you want to eat healthy? Well, Salad Express will fix that problem for you. Salad Express is a gourmet salad and grill restaurant that gives you multiple options to satisfy your taste buds and keep you healthy. They have over 40 toppings, which are all cut fresh daily, and 7 homemade soups, including chili. You can also order hot sandwiches and wraps, with choices like grilled chicken, steak, salmon, and shrimp, which can all be added to salad as well. Go ahead and visit them today at 1055 Mansell Road, Suite 600 in Roswell, Georgia. Your taste buds will thank you.
Sit back with me, the baseball antagonist. Pull up your favorite chair, grab a drink, and listen as Mr. Controversy helps us relax with his sports knowledge in the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, right here on the 3-Point Conversion Station.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Having a good time once again talking sports. And once again, I want to shout out our sponsors, Salad Express, Cindy Cuts Barbershop, and Sucker Free Life LLC. You can go ahead, if you want to be a sponsor, go ahead and send a message on the Facebook page, the 3-Point Conversion Facebook page, or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. So we had to bring in a very valuable asset to the 3-Point Conversion, who is our boxing guru, and he's won the Battleground series, which is coming soon. Get ready, but he's the Battleground champ. This man on the Real Deal. His show is called The Real Deal with Damian Adams. He's going back and forth with Stephen A. Smith. He covers the Phoenix Mercury. He does it all. He's the wild card. None other than my man, Mr. Damian Adams. What's going on, Damian?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. I'm going to get to be a guest on my favorite sports show. So that's definitely something to be excited about.
That's what's up. We appreciate having you here.
Hey, and I give you that. I give you that loot for that drop. Stop playing. Anyway, so Damian, if you all don't know, it's boxing tonight. A lot of things going on in boxing. First of all, Terrance Crawford is fighting Jeff Horn. You have Jermell Charlo versus Austin Trout, and then Abner Mares versus Leo Santa Cruz. I want to start off with the Terrance Crawford versus Jeff Horn. I mean, I would think this would be a big fight. You know what I'm saying? But even with all of the fights, why I ask you this, with all of the fights, I mean, what is the most interesting one? I mean, just we know the name with Terrance Crawford, and you know the most, I guess not your average boxing fans, but what fight should we be more interested in?
Yeah, all three fights are very interesting. I think all three can turn out to be really good, and I hate that they come on at the same time. But if I had to pick just one to watch, I would go with the Terrance Crawford versus Jeff Horn fight, just because it has a lot of interesting variables. You got Jeff Horn, who struggled to make weight yesterday, who made it after reweighing. He's somebody who we got introduced to last year when he got a very desirable decision, a decision that was very questionable against Manny Pacquiao last year in his home country of Australia. He fought well, but everybody thought that Manny Pacquiao won that fight. So this is a chance for him to prove that he belongs in the elite of the welterweight division, along with those other champions like Keith Thurman and Errol Spence Jr. For Terrance Crawford, this is his first fight at welterweight. He's dominated all through lower weight classes. Now he's going up to 147. And a lot of people don't think that's a big difference between 140 and 147. It's huge. There's a huge difference between those guys because a lot of guys at 147 don't walk around at 147. Like Jeff Horn, for example, who struggled to make weight yesterday, probably walks around at like 155, 160. So can Terrance Crawford carry his power from lower weight classes up to a guy like Jeff Horn who's going to continue coming? He's going to take those punches and keep coming forward. Terrance Crawford's a more skilled fighter, and he should win. But with somebody like Jeff Horn who has no quit in him, you don't know what's going to happen during that fight. So I definitely would pick that fight as the most interesting. But all three have a chance to be really good.
Absolutely. Now, with Terrance Crawford being said, do you think he deserved to be on a bigger stage than ESPN too?
I think so. He definitely should be on a bigger stage. He should be on ESPN, the main stage. And plus, with the fight being on ESPN Plus, it's something that most people have to watch on their phone. So, like, if you have ESPN, like most people don't have smart TVs or they have the app on their TV. So if you're watching it on your phone, that inhibits your ability to tweet about the fight, to post on social media about the fight while it's happening, to get more people interested. So you have Terrance Crawford, who's undefeated, who was one of the few people in history to unify all four belts at 140 pounds. That's the type of guy who should be on the main stage getting the attention of not just boxing fans like myself who are going to watch anyway, but the casual fan who may just turn on ESPN and see, oh, what's going on tonight? Oh, Terrance Crawford's fighting, I'll watch that. he's not going to get those casual fans to get his name. Now he has just a serious boxer fan like myself who now has to get ESPN Plus, even though, I just had it for the free month. But now I got to go actually buy it. So now I got to go get it just to watch this fight. So he should be on a bigger stage just to get that casual fan in, because he has the type of fighting style that's not quote-unquote boring like a Floyd Mayweather that a lot of people thought. He has an exciting style where he can knock people out, doesn't mind scrapping and brawling. That's the type of style that will pull in the casual fan. He should be on the biggest stage possible.
And once again, we're here live with Damian Adams, a three-point conversion boxing guru, and also you can follow his show, Damian Adams, or The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Follow him, and he's all over social media, which it doesn't hurt him. He's making it work for him.
The battlegrounds champion.
Yeah, right. And Damian, so going to the Charlo fight, like I said, you have a lot of listeners right now who are not your average boxing fans. So how much, I know Charlo is, I think Charlo's favored, but how much of a chance does Trout have against him?
I give Austin Trout a big chance against Jermell Charlo. Austin Trout's a veteran who's been in the ring with great fighters, Canelo Alvarez, Erislandy Lara. He's already fought Jermell's twin, Jermall Charlo, and gave him a great fight as well. Now, he's lost all those fights against those greats, but none of them were washes. He has a style where it makes it difficult for you to get a rhythm against him. He has a great jab. He's somebody who has great fundamentals. He's not just going to leave himself open for punches that he get him knocked out. And Jermell Charlo doesn't have the power of his brother Jermall. Now, you guys may not be familiar with Jermall Charlo, but you will be very soon. He might fight Triple G later on this year. Now, Jermell Charlo, I hate that their names are so close. Just because twins look identical don't mean their names have to be identical, but right. I digress. So Jermell Charlo is the twin that fights at 154 that's fighting tonight. He's really good, but he doesn't have the power to just knock you out with one punch in most cases. His last fight he did it, but I don't think that guy had a good chin. So with Austin Trout, he's going to keep coming forward. He's going to give you that jab, good fundamentals. Can Jermell keep his composure when Trout just keeps walking through punches? And I think that's something that's going to be interesting to watch tonight. I give Trout a good chance. I got Charlo winning by decision, but it's going to be a close fight.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Do you think the Mares Santa Cruz fight's going to live up to the hype?
I do. Now, they fought 2 years ago, and the fight was absolutely nuts. Two guys, they both threw over 1,000 punches, which is absolutely crazy, and just brawled from the opening bout. Usually you have one or two thought-out rounds, or, they're trying to figure out what the other guy is doing. These guys came in like they had problems with each other, like somebody said something about their mama or something. They came in right away throwing haymakers. And this time I think it's going to be more tactical because both fighters are a little older. They both have improved since that fight. So I think it's going to be more tactical, but it's still going to be great because they both have a style where they're going to throw punches regardless. They're both offensive fighters that have defensive skills. This fight will live up to the hype, and hopefully everybody gets to see it after Crawford probably beats Horn.
Yeah, man. So I got to ask you this. I got to ask you this. We talked about those fights, and you brought up Triple G. What about, how do you feel? I want to know your thoughts on his, him getting his belt stripped. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Really, IBF is, I guess, being, in my opinion, they're being very childish, stripping him because he doesn't want to fight their mandatory contender when their guy that they have as the number one guy isn't somebody that's on his list. Like you have, of course, Canelo. That rematch is on the table, but I heard that the negotiations are not going well. So that's why I brought up Jermall Charlo, who's very good, very powerful, someone who will be a very interesting matchup. There's also Billy Joe Saunders out there for Triple G. Billy Joe Saunders is a WBO middleweight champion who has a great style where he is the tactician in the ring. He jabs, hits you with the right hand. He dances around you. He just had a fight recently against David Lemieux, who's a powerful puncher, somebody not to mess with. Literally jabbed this guy to death and talked to him the whole time. that's somebody who's very entertaining because he literally was jabbing this dude, dancing around him, and was telling him about it in the ring. Like, you can't touch me, you suck, and did it in his hometown, too. Like, that takes, some big kahunas to do that. Mm-hmm. So I think there's some really good fights out there for Triple G. I don't think he's really worried about losing the IBF title. Floyd Mayweather said at one time, if you know I'm the best, what's the need for me to get a belt? All a belt does is take 3% of my check. So if you already have that status as the best, which Triple G does at the middleweight division, then he's not worried about that title. He can go and get it back if he really wants it. If they can set up a bigger fight down the line, like, okay, you're not a real champion. They can build it up, whoever gets the title next, and he can go ahead and get it back and get more money that way. So he's not really worried about it. I think the IBF in the boxing councils in general can be very challenged when it comes to that.
Yeah, we're gonna see. They're always getting what judged and talked about the IBF. So we'll see, man. But we definitely appreciate you for coming on, Damian. Please let everyone know where they can find you once again. Find your show. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so you can find me on social media at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha, on all platforms. You can find the show, The Real Deal, with Damian Adams. You know, we always bring out real sports talk for the real sports fan each and every week. You can find me on the 3 Point Conversion Station, on Spreaker Radio, and also on Apple Podcasts. YouTube is everywhere, man. Like the Facebook page, just search The Real Deal with Damian Adams. You'll find us. I'm doing great work for the 3 Point Conversion as well, so check me out on the 3pointconversion.com.
Yes, and hopefully we would talk about, maybe I can get him to do a boxing show, man. That's what we need. We will see, and even on his show, The Real Deal with Damian Adams, make sure you give him that 1, 2, 3, that 5, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Fifth. We appreciate you, Damian. You have a good one, man.
All right, brother. Cool. Have a good weekend, man.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the Real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Hey, what's going on, sports fans? It's the 2018 Battlegrounds champion, Damian Adams, from The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Now, you can catch my show weekly on the 3 Point Conversion Station on Spreaker Radio. But for right now, I'm doing what everybody else should be doing, and that's listening to Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual in the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
You're back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge with Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual.
We are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Appreciate Damian Adams for coming on and talking boxing. Now it's time to get into these get into the diamond. Talk about baseball. Mm-hmm. Talk about these Braves. They lost last night to the Dodgers.
7-3.
7-3. Yeah, man.
The Dodgers was launching them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and as Crystal stated earlier in the news flash, Brandon only gave up 5 hits, but 3 of those hits were home runs. Like,
yeah,
that's,
maybe they stayed in the park.
It's not good. And I mean, and the bad thing is like, what do you say? What do you say to a pitcher that's giving up only 5 hits?
Keep them in the park.
But
that's what you say to them.
I mean, because basically that's 3 pitches that you missed on.
That's a lot of pitches to
like, man, like I was like wow, this dude, like they had to take him out.
Yeah, you think?
But only 5 hits. You know what I'm saying? That's like giving up 3 hits.
If he had gave up 5 singles or 5 doubles, it'd have been all right. He gave up 5 hits and 3 home runs. You could just give up 2, 1 maybe, and they lost 7-3. Man, look.
Man, but
how many home runs they hit?
None. And shout out to the Braves. Hey, real quick, I want to know Freddie Freeman. I think he'll get in All-Star game voted. But Nick Markakis, do you think he's going to get in?
Possibly.
And okay, this was the talk, and I guess I'm doing a little name dropping, whatever. But no, I was talking. I got a chance to talk to. Shout out to Brian Jordan, and we were talking. Played for the Braves and St. Louis Cardinals, football also. But anyway, we were talking about it, and he was saying that he don't think Markakis is going to get in just because he's too quiet. Like he's batting for a great average, .327, I think. Mm-hmm. But that's all you hear about him. I mean, even in his interviews, he's just, this happened and whatever, and that's it. So a lot of fans don't know who he is, because yes, you have baseball fans voting, but right now, it's not a lot of. You don't have those pure fans like we used to.
And he got a lot of hits. He's not striking out much.
But he's not. You don't know about him. You barely know he's on the Braves. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's a contract year too, so he's definitely doing it at the right time.
Yeah, he's doing it at the right time. They're paying attention, but I just wonder if he, and then that will boast him up if he does get that, because like you said, now he gets. I mean, you have an All-Star on your resume. You're getting to the. Yeah, you're getting a big payday.
Like you say, he batting .327. So
yeah,
definitely.
He's playing well and has some big hits. But, like, he's quiet. He's too quiet.
For, 200 hits?
Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. And then, too, before we get to the main topic, I was watching I was watching the Mets-New York Yankees game last night. Mm-hmm. And, man, they showed the crowd, and it was I guess they had dress up like seats night again, because
like what?
Like seats night. There wasn't nobody there, just empty seats. But I mean, like, why is it like that? Like, man. Baseball, it's a lot of parks is not filling up.
No, a lot of people don't like baseball. Seriously.
Well, it caters to an older demographic, so it depends on what time the game is.
I'm not old.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
But I mean, like, the older demographic that it did cater to, a lot of games were in the afternoons, and it's a summer game, but it really depends on the market. Some teams are still somehow the league is still making money. MLB TV makes a lot of money. The Dodgers had that huge TV deal, which is weird to me for baseball, but it's really a market thing. If it's in Miami with the team that they felt like the taxpayers felt like they got swindled into paying for a stadium, and the team is sorry.
They're upset. Yeah.
Some cities feel jilted like that, but.
And like I said,
it's a market thing.
And like you said, scheduled too. You can't have a 12-20 game on a Wednesday.
Right.
I'm at work.
Right. Yeah. I take that back though. It was the Phillies were playing. But Phillies and it was a good game. It was Phillies in Milwaukee. It was Phillies versus the Brewers.
But yeah, that scheduling. You're right.
So let's talk about this though. This guy, where they should be filling up the seats, is Los Angeles. Not just because of Ohtani, but you have some kid, think he's good, named Mike Trout.
Oh, that one guy?
That one guy, yeah, Mike Trout. And this one guy, Mike Trout, is killing.
He's on pace for like the best war ever.
Yeah, ever.
Like that's crazy.
You're gonna have to explain that to me because, or like what war is, because apparently that's the only stat people use to tell me how good Mike Trout is. I understand he may be good, but he's one of those players where if he walked in this room right now, I would not recognize him.
Really? You wouldn't recognize?
If he didn't have on an Angels hat, I would not recognize him.
Wow.
Wins above replacement. So like defense, steals. They talk about even putting balls in play.
Yeah, just all of that.
Like instead of hitting a 1 out grounder to the left side when a man is on first, you hit a fly out to right or left field, and the man can move up to go to second base instead of staying off.
So do you think because of this, we'll get back to Mike Trout.
Seriously, it's
do you think that's why people don't watch baseball anymore because of this?
That's part of. I mean, like aside from the regular counting stats, average, home runs, or with pitching, strikeouts, wins, losses, whatever. I don't think the sabermetrics has totally turned people off, but it's made it a little bit less accessible than it used to be.
Right. I mean, I think baseball always been they've always had.
It's batting, base, running, fielding, and pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're using that to like how the A's did in the early 2000s with using that to scout players to build their team, that's one thing. As far as debating who's the best player in the league or who's the best of all time, I've been hearing that about Mike Trout for a long time. It's just that because I don't see it translate to playoff success, to postseason success, then and that I live on the East Coast and he's playing out west.
Right, I'm not going to say.
I'm not really paying that much.
But that's the thing about baseball. No matter how, and like I said, he's great. But no matter how great you are, it's hard if the rest of your team is not
right. And so,
good.
And even with him leaving, like what bigger market? I mean, he's in L.A.
But do you think the Angels? But Angels, okay, market wise, like you said, L.A. But Angels are not.
They've historically been horrible,
and they're not.
But they won
baseball
1 year. Did they win 1 year?
They did win. 2002. They beat the
Giants.
They beat the Giants.
But they're one. It's L.A. is Dodger Town, and Anaheim
Go across the street. Then
Anaheim might as well be in Seattle compared to.
But they're not in Anaheim no more. Aren't they Los Angeles now?
No, but I'm saying
they're called
but it's in Anaheim.
Los Angeles.
But it's in Anaheim. Right.
So, but I'm saying,
but Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Would you go? But where? I mean, I don't think.
I would leave though. The reason I would leave because this team historically doesn't do anything. Ownership, GM. And
so would you choose with Mike Trout? Would you choose a bigger market to go to I guess boost your?
I want to win. I'm
as far as the
winning.
market goes, you really only have two choices, and he's kind of halfway in one of them now.
Right.
Like if it's a bigger market, then you go to the Yankees. Mets, Dodgers, or maybe the Cubs.
Right.
But he's already like kind of halfway there, being in the Los Angeles area. But because of I think it's mainly a geographical thing to where he's playing out west, and as someone said in the chat room, it's hard for baseball to compete nationally against other sports. They may do well locally, but it's nationally that they struggle.
So let me ask you this. Quickly, do you think if he was with Chicago Cubs or he was with the Yankees, even the Dodgers, do you think you would recognize his face?
Me personally, no.
He probably wouldn't.
But I think also part of it also is how baseball doesn't really market their stars.
Players in that
he's supposed to be the best player in the league and potentially one of the greatest of all time. And I barely know what he looks like.
Can I ask you a question? Right. When is the last time you seen a baseball commercial? Just a regular, just on anything?
I think I've seen him on a commercial, but it wasn't baseball. It was more so whoever his sponsor, like I don't know if it was Under Armour, whoever it was.
Yeah, but
it was him.
Yeah, but do you don't see?
The last one I saw was with it was before a YouTube video. I think it was Bryce Harper.
Right.
But even with him being one of the best players in the league, they're barely marketed.
And that's the problem with.
And if he cut his beard and stuff off, you probably won't recognize him.
Who he is.
So. But even with the seats, like you were saying, that's also with the market because the Cubs sold out every day.
Right.
I don't care if the game started at 12 or 2.
How bad they were.
People taking off even when they were horrible.
Right. So, it's just like with him.
Mike Trout deserved to win. Man. Yeah. He's a monster. He is a monster.
He's a monster, and like you said, it's the fact that he's in LA and then he's not with the other LA team. And then their team is pretty good this year. I mean, but you have to be. It's like Houston Astros. Nobody.
But do you want to leave L.A.?
But who knew?
I'm gonna go to the
other.
If
you
weren't
a baseball fan, you had to look up who Altuve was. Like it was like, who is this guy?
Right.
Because he played in Houston.
But then he blew up, and the market followed him.
Yeah, I don't know, but
you want to play for a team that's gonna win, and we just don't see the Angels winning.
Right. Yep. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break, man. We'll be right back.
There's a lot going on in the world, and your world is always changing. That's why it's important to stay connected. The latest news, the latest entertainment, the newest music. If it's in the air or on the air, it can be in the palm of your hand, wherever you are, with the iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Over 1,500 live radio stations from across the country, and over 15 million songs to create your own custom stations. Text IHR to 45495 to download the app or listen at iHeartRadio.com. Standard text and data rates apply.
Hey, this is Brittany Griner from the Phoenix Mercury, and you listen to the 3-Point Conversion.
Yes. You know what that means when you hear this music. It is time to let you go. But before we let you go,
you too silly.
Before we let you go, we got to give a couple of shout outs, and it might be you. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to the man upstairs, God Almighty, for giving me this platform, giving us the stage where I'm able to do what I do, talk what I talk, make people mad, laugh, upset, want to give me the stop it button. I promise.
Stop
it. See, G. But I thank God for that.
You couldn't wait for it too.
And I think my engineer G. Appreciate you, G, man, for doing what you do, bro. We couldn't do this without you, man. I appreciate Gary, who's in behind the scenes doing his work. Appreciate you, Crystal, Dayan, for doing what you do. And definitely shout out to my co-host, The Intellectual.
Yes. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody listening, as always. The engineer, G. Like my co-host said, we got Gary behind the scenes doing his thing. Crystal always coming through doing what she need to do. Appreciate everybody for listening. Again, shout out to my cousin Sean Calvin and the young homies at Safety Net Facility in Mender, Alabama. Appreciate y'all, man. We know a lot of people giving up on y'all. We won't give up. Just appreciate everybody listening, man.
Yes, and I want to thank my family, beautiful wife, the children, all my cousins, uncles, aunties, everybody, play cousins, all. And I thank everybody who listened, like D said, man. We appreciate people that's been on Facebook Live, Mike Patton, I think that was Mike Patton, Damian Adams. Oh, one thing, I guess, Damian Adams and Joel Cortez. Also thank our sponsors, Salad Express, Cindy Cuts Barbershop, Sucker Free Life LLC, and for all who's listening, whether it's podcast, live on the radio, we appreciate you. Make sure you be safe this weekend. Enjoy this weather before it rains in Atlanta. Wherever you are, if it's beautiful weather, enjoy that. Love on family. Let family know that you love them. Always eat good. Watch some sports. It ain't that much to watch. But if you like baseball, you love it. If not,
you can watch that horse race.
Watch the horse race that I thought was watch that. Watch Justify win this Triple Crown. Justify is a beast. That's what I hear.
You thought was over?
Yeah, I thought it was over. I saw it yesterday. Look, I saw it. I was like, hey, I thought they were supposed to race this weekend. I'm like, oh, well. That's why I ain't put in quick hits. Like, I was confused. But anyway, until next show, it's going to be same time, same show, same crazy host, same sports nonsense, same engineer, same lovely Crystal, same Gary.
Same everything. You know how we do it.
Everything,
man. You know how we get down.
Till then, will you miss me? I'm out. Peace. You just got done listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts at the 3-Point Conversion. And also make sure you check out our website, the3pointconversion.com. Be sure to follow us live and listen every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.